Likkutei Torah, Parshas Emor, page Lamed Aleph, a little bit past midway. The last thing we were learning yesterday, the Rabbi asks a question. From one side we say the nefesh and the body are different. I mean, the nefesh and the body is different than elokus in the world. The nefesh becomes affected by the body, and the elokus doesn't become affected. Ani Hashem le'shanisi. Yet we find that there's mamala kolam and sefer kolam and bria, tzir and asiya, and all these various different levels. So, which one is it? Okay, so he says, Achainyan, the vadi is bechines chayes hamislabish ba'ilim is bepenim is mamish. Even by elokus, there's no question that there's a level of godliness that comes into the world, just like the neshama permeates the body. And it has different levels. Okay, it is the same. Like he quoted the Medrash, just like Hashem, the nefesh permeates the body, Hashem permeates the world. So there is this similarity between the two. And he says, yes, both are right. There's a level of elokus that comes in a plemius, but at the same time, there's a level of elokus that doesn't come in a plemius. Mamala. He didn't get back to that yet. Not there yet. But this chayes of elokus that comes into the world is only what's called ziv hashchina levad. It's only the ray of the shchina that's called is the ray of the ziv, a ray which is called the level of shchina. In other words, very simple. Hashem created the world with speech. Speech is malchus. Malchus is shchina. There's a level of elokus that permeates the world, but that level is only the ray of the shchina. It's not the shchina itself. And here the Alter Rebbe is differentiating. The ray of the shchina is taka affected by world. That permeates the world. So there are different levels. Just like malchus of Atzilus comes into bria and then Yitzira and then Asiya. So over there's taka chalukah madregas. There's different levels. Upirush, which means chayis and nimshach mimenu establish b'teiches ha'ilum is mamish. This chayis of elokus, the taka comes into the worlds, the different levels of the world, is rak mechina ziv or the levad me'ashchina baruch hu. It's only a ray of the shchina. Shebchin is ziv zeh. The ray of the shchina turns out to be the level of memala kol almin. That is the difference between each level, based on its own level. Gan Eden Elyon is in the higher Gan Eden is one revelation of elokus. In Gan Eden Atachton is a lower level of elokus, and so on. Is what's called Almadiz Galya B'Zayah. That's called in the Zayah the revealed worlds. Why? Because it's functionable. You see the function of it. That this has more elokus, this has less elokus. So therefore, that's the revealed level of elokus. In the revealed level of elokus, there's a difference between one level and the next. Because if it's revealed, there has to be a vessel revealing it. And therefore, if the vessel is different, then the revelation is different.
But it's still an array.
It's only a ray of the Shekhinah. Is on this level of elokus, it says, from my own flesh I can grasp Hashem, mamish. That is already a tangible level that you can, so to speak, see and feel. The higher level, the lower level. Like it says, what does it mean? A person, we know we have a neshama, because if not, we'd be, God forbid, dead. Okay? So we see the function of the neshama. Therefore, there's no question about it. If you see a living person, you know there's a soul in there giving it life. Yeah? Do you see the soul? No. Do you know what the soul is? No. But you know there's a function of the soul. So what you see is what Chassidus explains, it's the mitzias, not the mahus. You see the existence of the neshama because you see its function. You don't see the neshama, but you know it's there for sure because it's functioning. And then you have a level, okay, let's finish.
It's like a wind. You never see wind, but you see the effect.
You see the effect, yes. By the way, the neshama is also called ruach. Because we know clearly when the neshama leaves the body, as I not pagan ke'evin, it becomes a dead carcass. It's nothing. Like you see it every day when you go to sleep at night. Neshama istalakas me'aguf. The neshama leaves the body. It remains kista de chayusa, a minimal amount of chayus. Sleep is the 60th of death. And even by night, you see basically the person is laying in bed. Okay, unless if they're moving around, they're snoring or whatever. You don't even know if they're alive or not. You just see non-movable body. Therefore, every morning when you get up from your sleep, you say, God in Mesim. God in Mesim, Pegad means a carcass, basically. So every day we get renewed chayis to this dead body, so to speak. Every day the chayis comes new. The nasa beri chadashin becomes a new creature. So he says, even though you don't see what the essence of the neshama is, we don't see it, we don't know what it is, we just know it functions. It's known and we feel that the neshama is in the body. How do we know that? We see the effect of it. And that's what Avraham Avinu's greatness was when he realized that at 3 years old there has to be a creator, because he saw if there's a functioning world, there has to be a power behind it. And a 3-year-old kid to realize that there's a level of chayis that has to keep the world existing. Then he tried figuring it out what it was until he realized it's Hashem. So even though you don't see the neshama, but there's no question, you could say with certainty that there is a neshama. Whatever that neshama is, we don't know. Maybe it's a battery in us. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But we see the effect of the neshama that the person is alive. Because without it, the body is like a stone. When the nefesh leaves it. Then therefore the existence of the neshama is revealed to us. We see clearly the nefesh in the guf. Even though we don't know what it is, where it is, how it is, but we know it's functioning.
Then we can say it's a brain and a heart, and there's nothing else.
No, because a dead body also has a brain and a heart.
But it's not one.
Why?
Because the brain stopped functioning.
What made the brain stop functioning?
The heart.
And what made the heart function? Go ahead. Because a dead body has all the everything, except just it's missing the battery. What Alter Rebbe is saying is the level of Mamala Kolamin. The fact that Hashem is running the world and we see the world's functioning, there's no question beyond a doubt that there is a neshama in us. And the same thing is Elokus. We know its existence. So Mamala Kolamin is revealed in a way that we don't see what it is, but we know for sure it's there.
What is that to do with Kadosh Kadosh?
You in a rush?
No, I just want.
Okay. Kach mamish erch se'eloka. Because there's 3 levels of Elokus being separated from the world. There's Mamala Kolam, there's Sefer Kolam, and there's even higher than that. That's why you have 3 Kadoshes. But he still needs to explain before we even get to Kaddish. That's why he went off to say about the neshama in the body, that there is a functionality and you see it and you don't know what it is. So from one aspect, what the neshama is really removed from us. That's one Kaddish. Right?
Is that the first one?
The first one.
Why is the first one separated from the other 2?
It's not separated. It's
There's a line between the first and second and third, always. Why?
because the different levels of Kedusha.
How come there is no difference between second and third? But there is different.
There's different levels of Kedusha. You have Hamavdil ben Kodesh l'Kodesh, you have Kodesh l'Chol, and then you have there's different levels. Okay, he's going to explain it when we get there. So therefore, the same way I see Elokus. What does that mean? I see Elokus. Just like I know for sure within me, beyond a doubt, not even reason, beyond a doubt, that there's a neshama in the body functioning, even though I don't know what it is, where it is, how it is. There's no question the body, the world is one big body, and Elokus is giving chayas to it. And there's no question that there's chayas giving life to it. Like we see the nefesh, by its effect in the body. And that's like we see it in this world. We can understand beyond a doubt that in the spiritual world there's also functioning. And over there's also Atzilus is one level, Bria is another level, Yitzir is another level. In Atzilus you have 10 levels, each one composed of infinite levels. So you know there's infinite different levels of Elokus. They understand even more. The chayis that makes him exist. And that's why the Malachim are screaming this. The Malachim have a great, the Rambam says in Hilchos Yesodei Torah, that the Malachim have a greater understanding of Elokus than we do in the body. Because the Malachim are much more spiritual. So their understanding of Elokus is much greater than our limited, restricted understanding of Elokus because we have a body. And they don't have the body that blocks it. By the way, the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, Malachim also have a body. The difference is, our body is composed of 4 elements. And angels' bodies are composed of fire and air, which are much more spiritual than water and earth. So therefore, they're much more spiritual beings. But there's also a guf. A malach has an angel has a body, except it's much more spiritual.
How could you say in an abstract level there are different levels? In a spiritual level is abstract. How come?
No, the abstract is the Seviv Kalam. In Mamalakam, it's no abstract, because we feel it. The abstract, which is Kaddish, is the second Kaddish. The neshama in the body, you know its function? Is it still abstract or you get it?
No, it's not abstract.
It's not, it is abstract. What the neshama is?
The neshama,
Not the function of the neshama. The function of the neshama is not abstract. That's, okay. But what the neshama is not abstract. It is. That's one level of Kaddish.
that's the second.
No, first. I don't know why you're in such a rush. It's a long time, and we have 2 weeks to finish it. I mean,
It is me, not
oh, okay, it's you.
He's my assistant.
You might have to pay him embarrassing fee. V'zeh mipsari achsa lakach. Mipsari dafka from my flesh. Kamei shemipsari ani margish ve'echsa nefesh. Just like in my body I feel and grasp onto the soul. Shenasata bi. That you put into me, kach echza lokus is slabishis achayis b'chinas mamala kol almin. Therefore there's mamala kol almin. Hanim shechmein tzabaruchu b'teichis ha'elim ismamish. That comes into the world themselves, just like the neshama malas aguf. So basically, the Alter Rebbe asked the question, Ni Hashem lo shanisi. And yet there's a level of elokus that does change. So he says, yeah, ani, the level of ani, not the ray, is lo shanisi. Because that's completely abstract. The level of elokus, that's mamala kolam, that is influenced by world and changes in world, whether it's revealed more or less, yeah, that level is a level of mamala kolam. But that's only a ray of the Shekhinah, not the Shekhinah. So it's not a contradiction. Which level of elokus doesn't change and totally unaffected by world? That's the level of ani Hashem le'shanisi. The level of elokus that does change, that's the level of ziv hashchina. Kachais them is chalige gemochinus klolim. Gan Eden Elyon, Gan Eden Atachne Elamazet. Therefore, Mamalik Kol Almin in the Zayir is called Almid is Gali. Okay? So now he says in Gimel, Achbachin is Chayizan Nimshich Mamalik Kol Almin, but this revelation of Elokus that comes into Mamalik Kol Almin is only Ha'ara V'ziv Ba'alma Ziv HaShechina. That's only the ray of the Shechina. Avol Hu Yisparech Atzmai, but Hashem himself, the level of Ani, is Kodesh Shemov Doshenim Islabish Chassid Sholem B'Teichenis. That has absolutely nothing to do with worlds. That is a level of Elokus that's so remote, so abstract, so nothing to do with world, so world doesn't change it in any way whatsoever. The level of Ata, which is the level of Ani, the second person, first person, that doesn't come into the world. And that level of Elokus, we only reveal when we do a mitzvah. Or we make a bracha. Not by nature. By nature it can't be real. A guy can't reveal that level of Elokus.
There are instances that it does come down here.
Yeah, every time you do a mitzvah. You do a mitzvah. You put on tefillin, you bring down that level of Elokus down here.
That's why we say more than at that level.
That level,
We don't need to wash.
correct. That can't become tummy. Correct. Even that, even the level of Mamalik Kol Almin doesn't actually permeate the world. I'm sorry, not Mamalik Kol Almin. He's saying this Chayis of Elokus that does give existence to the world, that doesn't dress itself in the world in a way that you feel it, and that's the level of Seviv Kol Almin. In other words, it gives life indirectly to the world. The Mashal Chassidus gives for that is the Chayis Klali that the Neshama gives to the body. The Neshama comes into the body is alive. Yeah? But it's not functioning in the body in a direct, individual, detailed way. It's not seeing and smelling and hearing and all that. What it is it makes it alive. And that aspect, the head and the feet are both equal.
If it's a mitzvah connected to the level of Anarchy, which is higher than man, so that I do one mitzvah, it should be enough. Because it's such a high level, incredibly higher than the man and so that.
Yeah?
You have a part of the essence, you have the essence. One time in the video should be enough.
Yeah, but Hashem says you have to put on tefillin every day.
Why does it take 13 years?
Well, 1 second. We learned many times. Mitzvahs bring down Kedusha. Why the 248 mitzvahs? Because there are 248 different ways of bringing down a mitzvah. Now, the mitzvah of Shofar, once a year, does it for the whole year. That means the level of Kedusha you bring down in Shofar lasts a year. The mitzvah Shemitah lasts 7 years. Mitzvah Yovel lasts 50 years. Yes? Certain mitzvahs are weekly. That means the Kedusha you bring down when you make Kiddush and Shabbos lasts for a week. Yes? There are certain mitzvahs you need to do daily. Tefillin. Certain mitzvahs you need to do 3 times a day. Davening. Certain mitzvahs you need to do a whole day, learning Torah. That mean, so what does that mean? Every mitzvah brings down a different level of Kedusha. Some mitzvahs have to, some levels of Kedusha has to be brought down daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, Shemitah yearly, and Yeveli.
And grace is once a year.
What?
And grace is once a year.
Right. Right. Well, we learned that, no? So you ask if I do a mitzvah once, why isn't that enough? Because Hashem says that level of Kedusha got to be brought down again.
24 hours.
Daily. Why? Why does shofar last a year and tefillin doesn't? Ask him. Cholent is once a week. It lasts for the week.
You were connected to the highest level of that there is.
No.
The wire is connected not to the transformer.
But in that day, after you did it, did you eat more and sleep more and do more? Okay, so then you covered up what you just revealed.
What happens when after 13 years we get another neshama? Which kadosh is it?
Every 13 years you get a new neshama.
No. When you become a bar mitzvah,
you don't get a new neshama. The neshama is revealed more in the body.
Okay, so
Only revealed.
only once we receive that neshama, and after that,
It's just a question how much it's
how much
revealed.
it gets revealed.
Right.
And that's his first kadosh.
I don't know what it is. We didn't learn Kaddish yet. Possession is Barla Shachai, she's Baruch Mava Elimus. Ein Akadim Yarav Shemachai, it's a goof. Kiem is Baruch Machaya, it's Aval Bishenim Slabish Besecha. Rak Bechina Sevu Makav Aleyan. And he says, this is what he explained before. That when Rebbe said, when we explained before that the highest that Elokus gives into the world is Loishanisi, it's not like the neshama and the guf. That refers to the level of Seviv Kolam. That's not at all in existing in the world in a permeating level. What?
Kol almin plural, right?
Kol almin, all worlds. Correct. There's 4 worlds.
What are the words except
There's 4 worlds, 4 spiritual worlds. And the harder, the ray of the Shekhinah that comes to Mamala is only harder levad. That's called Ziv HaShekhinah. By the way, that's why we learned millions of times that Gan Eden is only a ray of the Shekhinah. And doing a mitzvah in this world, because when you do a mitzvah, you connect not to the ray of the Shekhinah, you connect to the essence of the Shekhinah. And Gan Eden, they're only getting the ray of the Shekhinah. The difference is, in Gan Eden, the ray of the Shekhinah is revealed. And when you bring down the essence, it's not revealed yet until Mashiach comes. Therefore, at that level of Elokus of Seviv Kol Almin, it's not affected at all through creation. Unlike the neshama, which is affected by the body, because the essence of Hashem is in the body. It's moving, and therefore it's understood. Shabchin is Seviv Kol Almin. Ein Shaykh is Chalkus Reish Self Umayla Mata. In the level of Seviv Kol Almin, you do not have any differentiation of head, body, and foot. Kivin Sheinim is Slavish Ba'ilmus. And that's what we say, Ki Nizgav Shmoi Levadei. Right? What do you say in David? Yalu Hashem Hashem, Ki Nizgav Shmoi Levadei. Hashem's name is elevated by itself. Haidei, his ray, which by the way doesn't mean a ray of Hashem. It means a ray of Shmoi is alerted to Shemayim. Peter Shirak Ziva Shel Shmei is Barich. Who mislabish be'adet to Shemayim Nachiyusam who mischalik l'cholokim. Avo Shmei Atzmai, but even the name of Hashem, not the essence of Hashem. The name of Hashem, which by definition the name means not the essence, but the way the essence is identified with others, even Shmai, which is Seviv Kol Almin, is still remote from the world. Completely separated. That's what we say, Ein Pirush, it's impossible for the level of Seviv Kol Almin to reveal itself in the world through cause and effect. Ila va'olu. You can't create finite from infinite lowering infinite, less, because infinite remains infinite. That's why limitation of mamalik kol almin needs to be yesh mi'ayin. Chochmah is the highest level. From higher than chochmah is yesh mi'ayin.
Can the matter survive without sober?
No. Can your functioning neshama function without the general chayis of the neshama? In other words, can the neshama let you see if you're dead? Mamala kol almin is the ray of Seviv kol almin. I.e., you have the sun, S-U-N, and then you have the ray of the sun. Without the sun, you can't have a ray.
But the vice versa is possible.
Huh?
But the vice versa.
You can have a sun without the ray.
But that's the whole definition of a sun. It's no longer sun.
Correct. The rays of the sun are in the sun.
You can have sober without another.
Yeah. In the level of Elokus that didn't create world yet. Yeah, but Chassidus explains, even Seviv, as much as it's disconnected from world, it's still called surrounding the world. That's why we learned many times, Alter Rebbe and Mizmor Shir and all the other Maimarim explain that these levels represent food, clothing, and shelter. Food is mamala kol almin. You digest it internally. Otherwise it doesn't function. You can't put food on your body and your stomach and live. Okay. So you have food that's digested internally. That's when the food turns into blood and goes to each limb according to the amount of blood that limb needs. Yes? Then you have clothing. Clothing you don't digest internally. It affects you indirectly. It doesn't affect you like food. If you're hungry and you put on clothing, you're not going to get full. It affects you indirectly. But the clothing have to fit you. And then you have a house that one size fits all. So even Seviv Kol Almin, it's still shame in Hebrew, not embarrassing. The name, but that's Niskav Shemay Levadi. It's a level of Shemay that's not permeating the world. It's clothing. That's why Chassidus gives the mashal of Seviv Kol Almin, the mashal of clothing. And the Maimon Mizmor Shir later on in the Likkutei, the Alter Rebbe asks, why is it that food is more important than clothing, which is more important than housing? Why is housing more expensive than clothing, which is more expensive than food?
It's reverse on this world.
So the Alter Rebbe explains, because in the source it's higher. Simply, the Alter Rebbe says in the Maimon, because food is more accessible, and it lasts less than clothing and housing. But the real reason, the Alter Rebbe says, because this is Mamala, and this is Seviv, and this is Atzmus.
So even solar has a cave.
That's what he's going to explain later.
So again, Mamali is the housing and sober is the
No, Mamala means Mamole, permeating. It permeates it.
feeling.
That's food.
Okay.
Seviv is clothing.
I see. And the housing.
That's why the Alter Rebbe always says the expression in Tanya, when you're baininist to meditate, he says, Eichu Mamala Kol Almin, V'Seviv Kol Almin, V'Kula Kamei Kolei Choshev. The Alter Rebbe always uses those three expressions. What is this baininist? Eichu Mamala Kol Almin, V'Seviv Kol Almin, and then he said, V'Kula Kamei Kolei Choshev. That's even great. That's the Atzmos. Ata Havaya Elokeinu. Anechi Havaya Elokecha. These are the three levels, general levels of Elokus. Now each one, Mamala is billions, infinite levels. Seviv has billions of levels. In essence, is one essence.
Comprehend enough.
Huh?
How does the neshama feels when leaving the body?
Capish.
How does the neshama feel? I never died yet in this time around, but they say it's very painful. That's what it says.
Painful
that the neshama leaves. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu and Miriam and Aaron died b'neshika. What do you mean they died with a kiss? That the neshama leaving the body was not painful.